So Sam, the last time we met, I gave you a referral for a program that I was hoping could help you with employment, about finding a job. I'm wondering how that went.
It hasn't gone too well. I just don't have time. I've been getting called from school. My girls are getting in trouble there, and I just don't see the time to find work.
Yeah. It sounds like you're still pretty frustrated with how the girls are acting, and that's really, it's taken up a lot of time, and you're not really sure how to get them to listen to you. And I know one of the things we talked about in the previous sessions is when that happens, what you usually do is you end up spanking your girls.
Yeah, it's just me right now, so that's the only thing I could do is spank. That's how I was raised, and that's what I have. So you just gotta understand, the school is calling me. They're yelling at me and they're wanting me to go to school to do some type of visit, but school is supposed to be teaching them how to behave.
So let me see if I understand this. You're saying that the girls are at school most of the day, and you feel like they should be learning that kind of discipline, how to act right and how to behave from school.
Yeah, that's what the teachers are there for, to teach them how to behave.
I definitely see that. You know, I can see how that you would feel this way. But I'm wondering if you think it would be helpful to learn how to get the girls to listen to you and to behave at home for that time when they are home with you.
I guess. I would just yell at them and spank them every time that they get in trouble. So I really don't have time for that. And the real thing is, I really don't like hitting them. It does make me sad. They're my kids. They're my muñecas. They're mine, so I don't want to hurt them.
Yeah, it doesn't make you feel good. Absolutely, I completely understand. So maybe after meeting with me today, what might be a good goal that you could set for that in relation to disciplining your daughters? What might be a good goal?
What do you mean?
I mean, like in the long run, if you imagine sort of in the future, what would, in terms of helping your girls behave at home and at school, what would you like to see happen? What would you like to see change?
I think I would want them to learn more. I think I want them to not get in trouble, and maybe I could discipline them a little different. I think I would just try new things.
Okay. So I was sort of seeing like the idea of learning more, you learning new ways to discipline your daughter so that you don't have to spank them.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen.
Okay. All right. The goal is to learn new ways so that you don't have to spank your daughters. How do you think we should measure if that goal is working or not?
I don't know what you mean.
Okay. So maybe we could. So ideally, whenever your daughters get in trouble, there would be times where we wouldn't want to spank them. You would want to try something different, and maybe we could mark down or somehow track the times where you use spanking, other times where maybe you did something differently, and that way we could look at whether or not it's working for you.
So, I think I could do that. I think I could do that.
Yeah.
If you could help me come up with something.
Yeah.
That's something I just don't know.
Yeah, and I know it's and time is a concern too. You're looking for a job, you're a very busy single parent, so I'm hoping that we can make it so simple it wouldn't take too much out of your way to maybe mark down when your daughters get in trouble or when they're doing something that's not favorable, and what discipline strategy you use, whether you spanked them or whether you didn't.
Yeah, I'm open to it.
Okay, awesome. All right, so with your permission, I want to talk about a couple of things that we can do that might make your job a little bit easier as a dad. Is that okay if we start learning some of those?
Sure.
Okay. Well, let me first ask you then, do you ever spend time with your daughters just talking about their day, kind of what their interests are, how things are going?
When they get home, I say, ¿Cómo están? And they tell me, bien, and then they just go.
Okay, so you're doing some of that dialogue whenever they get home from school, kind of asking them about their day.
Yeah.
do you think it's possible that we can stretch that time out a bit? Maybe 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes with your first daughter and one with your second daughter, and just hang out with them, talk about what they want to talk about. No TV, no phones, no games, just you and your daughters one-on-one.
I don't know, 30 minutes. They might get bored of me. I don't even know what I would talk about. They're two little girls and me. Yeah. I don't even think I have anything in common with them.
Yeah, I see it. So maybe 30 minutes, because that's a big time commitment. Maybe 30 minutes a day it's a little bit too daunting. It's a little bit too much. What if we could do 10 minutes with each daughter a day? The goal here is just to spend quality time with them. Let them direct the conversation and tell you about what they're interested in. If they want to play with toys or something, you can play with toys with them. Let it be natural. It's really beneficial to their development for you as a parent to engage with them on a daily basis like that, kind of in a routine. Does that sound like something that you can do?
20, that sounds better.
Okay, 20 minutes sounds a little bit more doable. That's good. I'm really glad to hear that you're able to give it a try. Why don't we try that all week until we meet again, and we can talk about if that worked for you, if that spending that time was helpful for you. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about what happens during that time and if it's working.
All right.
So that's one. Let's move forward then. It seems from our previous conversations and a little bit today, you spend a lot of time yelling at your daughters and a lot of time punishing them, a lot of time on spanking. Is that right?
Yeah, they just don't do what they're supposed to do. School, go to school, behave, come home, clean, do homework. Mm-hmm. And when they don't do, then I just spank them. I just don't want them to end up like me. Mm-hmm. And going to jail, being away from family. I just don't want that. I don't want them to miss their mom, even though she's gone. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just don't want them to be in trouble.
Absolutely. I can see right now is that you really care about your daughters, and you want them. You're very invested in having them not maybe in some ways follow in your footsteps.
Yeah.
And it also seems like it can feel really overwhelming being the sole person responsible for teaching them that right and wrong, making sure that they don't do that. I'm also seeing that you don't have a lot of time to yourself.
No.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by your responsibilities, and it sounds like you don't get any, relaxing time to unwind. You're always engaged in this. Do you think it's possible that when you're punishing your daughters or when they're getting in trouble, you're maybe reacting to some of that stress?
Yeah. Because I just explode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just explode.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm thinking based on what you're telling me, I'm thinking I have another technique that can help your daughters learn like more acceptable behaviors. It's really easy to see the bad behaviors, really easy to see them because they're bad. It's not what we want. I'm wondering if I can ask you what you can do is start trying to recognize the good behaviors and to praise your daughters whenever they're doing exactly what you want them to do.
Okay.
For example, if you see your daughter, Rose, really focused on her homework, you've asked her to do her homework and she's focused and she's doing exactly what you want her to do, maybe you could smile at her and let her know that you're really proud of her and that she's proud of her that she's getting her homework done. And maybe even walk over, give her a hug, maybe give her a kiss, be genuine, smile about it, like really show her that.
Okay, so you want me to hug my daughter. Mm-hmm. That's just weird.
Okay, that doesn't sound very natural to you.
Yeah.
Maybe then there's a way to give, so maybe not hugging, that doesn't seem like something that's very comfortable with you. And the goal is to make this seem very natural and very genuine. This might feel a little bit weird, but it's useful to practice some of these things, saying them out loud. I'd like to do a little role play. I can act as one of your daughters and you can practice giving me positive reinforcement for doing the things that you want me to do. How does that sound?
Okay.
All right.
It's weird.
Um,
It is weird. But let's go.
Okay, yeah, and I know a lot of people feel that way, but the feedback that I've gotten from some of my clients is that when they've practiced saying these things out loud, it's easier to say them in the moment. So let's see, I can be your daughter, Rose, and
Awesome.
why don't we try to, you've asked me to do my homework, let's use that example, and I am sitting at the table really concentrated on doing my homework.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Rosa, you're doing good.
Okay, great. Let's pause right there. Whenever you're giving praise for good behaviors, it's best to be specific. You want your daughter to know exactly what she's doing that you're pleased about, so that she knows what behaviors elicit that positive response, and she's more likely to do them in the future. So try to be really specific. And yeah, call her by her name, and then go into detail. Tell her how you feel.
Okay. Rosa, me gusta cuando haces la tarea porque te va a hacer inteligente, más inteligente de mí.
Can you translate that for me?
So what I just said, I said, Rose, I like it when you do homework because you can become more intelligent than me, because school is, well, it makes you smarter.
That's great. What I really liked about that, I loved calling her by her name, and
Mm-hmm.
it seems like, and then connecting you and her and letting her know she can be smart, maybe even smarter than her
Mm-hmm.
daddy. I think that that's really meaningful. Did it feel more natural to say it in Spanish too?
Yeah, it felt better.
Yeah, that felt a little bit more natural. Yeah, I want you to select those words and those phrases and those actions that feel genuine, because they're more likely to work.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see. Positive reinforcement is for times when the kids are in trouble, when they're doing exactly what you want them to do. And they are more likely to build on those behaviors because they want to get that positive feedback from you. Now, you and I both know that's not going to work all the time. And your daughters are still probably going to get in trouble, and there's going to be times where they're not doing what you ask them to do.
So I spank them.
No, that's, so what I'm hoping is to give you, this is the tool that I'm hoping to give you to use, not when they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but to use when they're in trouble.
Okay.
Have you ever tried timeout before?
Timeout, so I think you just send them to a corner and that's it?
Yeah, so it's sort of like that. You are taking some of that time away. So the function of a timeout, or what you would hope for with the timeout, is whenever your daughter is doing something, engaging in something that's not good, or something you've asked them not to do, you would send them to a quiet place, maybe to their room or to another place in the house that's quiet, for a certain amount of time. And they would use that time to calm down, and to sort of think about, just to really come to a level place. And the benefit of the timeout also for you is that you get an opportunity to sort of collect some of your thoughts. Because what you'd like to be able to do is to go back to your daughter and explain to her why that timeout happened.
Okay, timeout. Vete a la cuarto. Think about what you did, and then I go think about what you did.
Yeah, so the reason that I think that this might be specifically beneficial for you is you talked about some of that frustration and that stress. It makes you mad and angry whenever your daughters aren't doing what they want you to do.
Okay.
And it sounds like that's kind of what leads you to that spanking.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that what you could say is send your daughters to their room or send them to this designated timeout area, and then you have an opportunity as the parent to relieve some of that stress as well. To sort of collect your thoughts, you calm down as well, and then you'd be able to come back together and you'd be able to tell her from a calmer place why what exactly she was doing wrong
Okay.
that led to the timeout.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That sounds better.
Okay. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so what I'm hoping is you can try that out this week. Try that out, do the timeout, follow through on that, and then we could come back together and we can talk about how this worked for you as an alternative discipline strategy.
All right. All right.
So, Sam, I want us to get back to our, sort of like our homework, the checklist that you and I worked on together to sort of track some of that, some of those behavior management strategies.
I brought it.
Oh, you brought it with you. Okay, so like, tell me about how that went.
Well, it was weird. I just felt weird because I felt like timeouts, they just don't happen. So I tried it the first time, and sure enough, it didn't work. So I spanked them, just because I just needed to. So so after they were getting in trouble again, I thought about you, and I tried it again, and it worked a little better. So I think it worked a little better. So I tried it again, and it started working a little bit better. And so your crazy ideas maybe works. So what I found out is 19 times that I punished them, 15 of them I didn't spank them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and what effect did that have on your daughter's behavior? I mean, was it working?
Yeah, I think so. I'm yelling at them less.
Okay.
At school, still get the phone calls, but at least at home, they're good.
Okay. So it sounds like your daughter's behaviors is having some change, but I'm wondering, how did it feel for you to use that skill, to use the timeout instead of the spanking?
At first, I wanted to spank them, but then the timeouts allowed me to not be mad. So I was able to calm that down, and then bring that back in to talk about that. So I think I wanted to spank them, but I tried not to.
Yeah. How does it feel to make a little bit of that change?
It made me a little happier because I don't like hitting them. I don't like hitting them. So it made me feel better that I'm not hurting them.
Great.